Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. Let's go. So silver, yesterday we said we will be looking for a sell setup if it breaks out. It actually didn't break out. It didn't go anywhere. Even if you put it like that, there was just a little wick that your entry order should be either below here or below here. So I don't think you should be in that trade. There's no setup for a sell there, not by any means. We have your entry order here didn't get tagged. It's still consolidating. So we can look at this two ways. If you go back and you look at the previous consolidation, I think this is how we should do. Right, if we go back and look at, remember at one point we thought that this, sorry, let me just get that. We thought that this could actually break lower and then go up. It wasn't whether we think it's going to go up, it's whether we think that was going to break lower. And then after it starts to consolidate so much and we notice that it's going up back, we realize this was the impulse, short impulse, correction, they're going. So your first buy probably, if you didn't buy anything in here or buy here, your first buy would probably come only after this, which wasn't bad. Not that you didn't miss much, right? Because the risk was if you had bought here or sold there. If you bought there, it could have gone down. If you sold there, it could go up. So unless you have a setup, I think we had one flag here where you could have taken a risk. That was when it broke this top, this one flag, but that became a break-even trade. The best trade we had afterwards that actually triggered and went was this one, right? That flat there, because we had this impulse, we had that flat, all you had to do is put your entry order there. So that turned out well. If we're doing something similar here, I think even the smaller one, we had the same thing, right? Whether we're going to break out of this or whether this was going to come lower and then go. We will always go with the option that the possibility of going lower. But once they go up and they make flags and the flag is breaking out of the structure, we will be interested in that trade. So the same thing here. If this breaks out of the structure, and I said break out of the structure, if this breaks out of the structure and make a flag or a correction, we would take that trade. You don't want to take it if it just basically break this top, because then they can break the top and come right back down. Right? That doesn't change the structure as it is. So we would want to see structure change. Can this one still looks like a flag but crawl down? Well, we've had many situations like that, if I can find any right now, where they look like a flag to go up and then, you know, if you were in here, you would probably think of this, you'd probably look at that as a flag to go up, but then it drops, right? So we've had many situations. We're looking at, there are many places where they start very slow. And your assumption is, okay, they're probably going to do this, and then they do the up. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come down. I still think that we're more likely to come down. And today's Friday, if they're going to drop it, they'll drop it here, and then we're going to go up. But if you think that it is going to go up like a rocket and you're going to miss the trade, then again, you can put your entry order here. Your stop should be calculated at this level. I know it's a very big one, but what if they take off? What if they do this? Just let's assume, right? What if they do this within the next 2 hours? You wouldn't get a chance to get a flag or something. So you can put that with a stop here. And the worst case is you're going to get a 1-to-1 risk to reward trade. A smaller lot size, that's all. And that's okay. At least you got a trade, right? If they don't do that, I think you'll have enough time to get the hell out of that trade. The trade I'm looking for is the sell setup. Now, the problem is they're at the top here. You can't sell it here with something looking like a flag, right? That doesn't make sense, because then you're setting yourself up for this to happen. If they do break this small flag, there's a possibility they'll break this small flag, do this, and then go down. We have seen that. Look at this piece here. See that? We were expecting this to go down, and then they broke the flag, and then they dropped. They dropped beyond that point, start to go back up, and then we figure out that this here could be a expanding flat for upside. So this was a buy, and I think there was one more buy somewhere above this one. Very small trades. But basically, you get the idea, right? So you don't want to buy in here, because the risk is they will just break the top and drop. And you would probably get a loss, because you might not even get a chance to go for break even. So I still think even if they go down, even if they do something like this and start to drop, anywhere we get a flag for a sell, we'll take it. If this comes down slowly, and there's a possibility of that, of this coming down slowly, and then make a flag, we'll get the sell. So if we get the flag, we will get the sell. If we don't get the flag and they drop, well, the only thing is an entry order here with a stop here. The opposite for the buy, right? It's the same thing for the sell. You can actually use a stop lower for the sell. You can use a stop here for the sell, which is if you have an entry order and this drop, your stop should be here, not there. Right? So this could be a 1-to-1 also, if that happens. So if you want to put an entry, but it will be better if we get a flag to sell. Not the entry order, but a flag. That would be much better for all of us. So let's see if we get that. We're still looking for the up move. The bigger picture is the up move. Right? The bigger picture is this going up, not down. So if you want to take a chance on this, remember what I said, if you want to go with the option here, you want to wait for it to make a flag. Now they've actually pulled back very high. I think now, if you want to buy a put here, now is the best time to do it. So today is the best time to do it if you want to go with a put there. Why? Because we knew this was going to go up back and it's up. So if you buy a put here, you're getting it very cheap. You're getting it very cheap. Even if this is going to go, we will get into the trade. The trade will be a different trade. And you can still close this for some money because it will come here and it will start to pull back. And then you just close this next week for, I don't know, a little less than you bought it for, if we think it's going to go up. But what if they do this and then do this? You'll be good. So I think if you want to buy the option, test the option strategy, this is the best time to test it. Let's see. This is the future. Some of our traders traded. And remember what I said. You don't want to buy at the top there, but if you're insisting on doing it, put an entry order and try to get it for break even. Could you have got that for break even if it tagged you there? 1, 2, 3, yes, you could have got it for break even because it tagged you and it pulled back the first hour. Let's say you don't close it the first hour, the first red, the second red you didn't close, but the second red pulled back there, you probably thought they were going to go. The third red open, drop like this, you go like this, then you come back here, that's where you close it. Right, once the green come back here, they're not going, you close the trade. This would have been your loss. Your stop would have to be in here because this is the impulse up. If you wanted to take the trade, I said you don't want to buy at the top there. I clearly made it. You don't want to buy at the top of a structure. Let it pull back deep, make a 4-hour consolidation, and then you go. As a matter of fact, you could get a sell setup here today. And you could take the sell because you're taking a sell from a top that has just been broken, going down. If that's the end of the structure, and I mean, that could be the end of the structure, right? That could be the total end of that entire move up. And I wouldn't be surprised if this could be the start of the move down. If this could be this, not in a straight line, but the start of the move down. I think the first one would have to be an impulse like this. And if you can get that impulse at the top there, if you can get the first impulse that will be like this before they do this at the top there, that's good. Is it going to be the impulse coming down? Who cares? What do you know? You don't know it, right? And I think this is one of the things that got me blocked on Facebook from one of the traders, a very popular trader from Australia, post. He blocked me totally from posting because one of the things he said is that, I mean, sometimes these guys kid you when they post. I think he said, anyone who thinks they can read the future is a fool. So he's a trader and he's trying to say other traders who think they can read the future is a fool. Well, we are traders. We don't read future. We make forecasts. That's the first thing. That's the first comment I made. I said, first your comment is, it's kind of weird. It's not the right way to put it. We're not fortune tellers. We don't tell the future. We make forecasts based on educated patterns that we see, based on things that we see. And I said, if you can't make a forecast as a trader, then you're not a trader. Tell me what you do when you decide to buy or sell. Is that a forecast? He tried to answer me, and when I answered back to what he answered, he blocked me because he realized he's getting nowhere with that conversation. They write things that are just, doesn't mean anything, but it's catchy, right? Like if you guess the future, I sometimes watch these guys and I wonder what's their whole purpose. So basically, let me just stop right there because I can go on with that forever. Yes. This is a trade that we're making a forecast on based on an educated decision. We've looked at the daily. We decided daily is a point where you can get a deep correction or it could fall back to the low based on patterns that we know. These are educated structures that these are known structures that we have studied. So you're making an educated guess. Well, you're not just because you've done the analysis, you're going to jump in the trade. You're saying, okay, prove to me that you can do that. What are the things we look for the proof? We got an impulse. If we get a correction here, how many times have you seen an impulse, a correction, and another impulse? That's the basic element of the chart. If you've never seen that or you don't understand it or you don't know that, stop trading. I will probably post this on YouTube today. So I'm going to go a little detail more for that. If you can't see that pattern in the chart everywhere, every time, on all time frames, stop trading. Because whatever you're doing is totally incorrect. I don't care what analysis you're using. If you can't see it in the chart, forget about even using the analysis. If you can't see that in the chart, the basic element of an impulse, a correction, and an impulse, you have no idea what you're doing. Whatever you're doing is more of a bigger guess than anything. So if we get this set up, we can go. Could this be a complete correction? I think not. You can look at it, right? You can put the entry order, but beware that they can make a running flat, so your stop goes here. What that means. What does a stop mean? If things go wrong and they tag you and they do that, I want to be out there. I'm wrong about this analysis and I want to get out there. So I didn't get a chance to break even. Take me out here. How many times, if you're looking at a chart and you're a trader, how many times you will see them do this and do that? I think very, very few. Show me in the chart where that happens, where you can get a chance for break even here, or they don't go up. Let me use a different color. Or they don't come down here, go up, make a flag like this, and then go to give you a chance for another break even. How many times I've shown you your opportunity for break even is there 1 time, 2 times, 20 hours, you get a chance to break even before the trade goes in the opposite direction. Because it comes back to the basic element. 1, 2, 3. A correction, and then they go. They don't just take off like a rocket. You don't see that. It's very rare. So in that case, you will get an opportunity for break even if you're setting up your trade the right way. Put the entry order. Let's see what happens. If this comes down really, really, really slow and tag you, I think you look at the pattern instead of probably running flat come, take it out, put back the entry order lower. Our traders know how to do that. Same would be for this. See? Same thing. You don't want to buy at the top there. It's dangerous. You're buying at the weekly top. That's the worst thing you can do. Buying at the top. You know when they said buy at the top, this is what you're doing if you're buying there. You're waiting for it to pull back very deep before you start buying it when you're the weekly top. So most likely we could get a sell setup today. And it's Friday, so watch it. It could probably go. Dollar index, a little more up. It's there. It's not breaking the top, but it broke this top, which is the requirement for the regular flat. We broke 1, 2, 3. This could be an expanding flat in the middle. They don't need to break this top, but every time they break this top, it makes us comfortable, right? Now, the question is, can they still go break the top? I still think they're going to go. I could still look at this as a possible flat in the middle here forming. Come here and then probably go back up. Can you sell that one for the downside? I think we could take the trade. It's a chance trade because we haven't broken this top. If this top was broken and you get this flag, I'll say go for the sell. But because it's not broken, you will have to take it with caution, right? And this is not a weekly top like the gold. Euro, same thing. We haven't broken the low. It's coming down nicely. They haven't broken the low. Can you take this buy here? We did break this low, which is the requirement, but you know, you can still go for this trade if they consolidate here some more and decide to break, go for the trade, take a break even. If it comes really low back to this level, well, I think you know, that's a flat. We're going to go down. But if they stay there and they go, I think the buy is not a bad idea. You can work for a break even trade if it doesn't go, like they tag you very slowly. Just take it off. If it does that, that's your trade. If it comes tag you and start to come down back, you will have a stop here. That's first. But if they make a flag here, you'll exit the trade because they're going to go down. And we actually did one of that in real time on the silver, right? Where I showed you the day before, wait for the flag. The next day the flag was there. You exit the trade. Your loss is 10 pips out of it. You had a 50 pip stop and you lost, I don't know, 10 pips or 5 pips. 1/10 of what you were risking on the trade. If every time you risk money, you can get out. When you're wrong, you can get out for less, which means you would lose less when you're wrong. But when you're right, if you're right about this and you have it, it's going to do this. It's going to break this stop and it's going to go. So if you're right about it, this would be your risk. And you would get 1, 2, 3. If you get 5 to 1 sometime when you're right about the trade, which means if the trade goes the way you want it, perfect. You got more than 2 to 1, up to 5 to 1. If you're wrong, then you should not lose even 1 to 1. You should lose less than you're risking, right? That's the amazing thing, is that you can lose less than you're risking. So even if you lose the full amount you risk, you're losing 1 of what you risk, 1 unit of what you're risking, regardless of how much that is. When you win 5 units of what you're risking, 5 to 1. If you can lose every time, you're wrong, half of what you were originally risking, that's amazing. That's the whole point of trading. You don't have to be sure that this one is going to go. You have to have the risk amount you're risking and how you're going to manage the trade. So I think we can go for the buy. I would like it to break this low first and then go, but let's see. I hope they come down, break the low. This could be a break-even trade. Come make a flag here. I could see the possibility of them coming here, make a flag, drop one more, and then start the up move. That is possible. If you see it's a flag, if you see this comes deeper before it breaks the top, take it off. Pound. This one would definitely drop because this one has a setup for a sell, and that is why I think euro might also go. That's a sell setup, right? This gives us the running flat. Let's take this off and put it for the running flat. This is a running flat. You can take off this one. It's not going to go there anymore. And we could be looking for this trade today. Just a short trade to break this low. Once they break that low, you'd have to put this trade either in profit or at break even. Why? Because in the big picture, it could go back up, right? On the big picture, this thing could stop right here and go right back up. And we would be making a 1, 2, 3 for the upside. This would be a separate flat of its own, if that happens. This is a separate flat of its own, but this question is whether this is 1, 2, 3, and we are going down totally, or whether we're going to stop here and go back up. So at this point, all you need to do is put it to break even. If I take the trade, all I'll do is put it to break even. Now, I don't know what trades I will take today, right? But if I take it, that's what I do. Put that to break even. You just need to put that to break even and then leave it. What's the worst case? You're going to have break even, right? If it goes back up, we'll look for buy setups. But if they keep falling and I think they can retest this low, good for you. Aussie, coming back down. Aussie would not be the best sell because Aussie just needs to come and break this. It looks more like a flat rather than a downside. This is a sell setup, but all they need to do is like break this low. Sorry, that's not a straight line. Something like this, break this low, and then go back up. You can take that trade. Maybe that is all that happens today, and they stop somewhere here. If they continue to go down, good for you. How deep this can go? Well, this is the move up. We're retracing right now this move up. This is I think this is the move we're retracing right now. Because this is a bigger correction than all of this. We will probably see that on the, let me go in the 4 hours. We'll need, oh, I can't do that here, sorry. I was just going to, I forget I'm planning to post this on YouTube. So you get what I'm saying? So get carried away sometimes. Look at this. This is the one we want. So we're gonna look for this trade, right? So up or continue to go down. It could go down quite a lot more, even if they're correcting, right? Because the depth of where they could go is if you're retracing this one. If we're trying to make a bigger daily correction there, we're retracing this whole thing, then there's a, this could drop really deep before you get a correction, come back and then go. So I think it's worth taking. Short-term trade. If that's all you get today, that would be good. Same thing with the New Zealand. New Zealand might not be the best one. This one doesn't have good risk to reward. This is the low that they need to break. Not the best trade right now. This might even go up from this point if you probably look at it as a contracting flat. I don't think it is. They're consolidating very nice, so I think it's more downside. Yen. Yen is consolidating still. I don't like this sell. They're breaking out here for the sell setup, but I don't really like it. They're breaking out there, but we might not, we don't have I would not sell this. I could see the depth of this going. I just don't like the pattern, the way it's forming. But it's a sell setup, right? You can see that is a sell setup. I just don't like that pattern. Sell something else. CAD. Okay. Let's see. We still have a little more to go until we break this top. That's the minimum we want. So there's one more trade up at least. And if they're going to continue to go up like we think, then they're going to continue to go really high. So you can look for a buy setup here today in the CAD. It didn't go anywhere yesterday. It's mostly consolidated. Swiss was the trade. So let's see. We were here. We got that trade. We got this one. Then this one you took out here for break even, and then you put it above the top. They tag you. They went for 1, 2 hours, dropped suddenly. I think by that time you're thinking, what the hell should I do with this trade? And I would say leave it because they went up back and then they dropped like this. And this is where you're worrying. Would it come and get my stop? Your stop should be under this impulse here. Because if you're looking at this as the flat, your stop has to be under here. And then they start doing this. Well, I think you can see how many opportunities you have to get out of that trade for break even, right? So even if you don't get out, if you didn't get out there, if you didn't get out here, if you didn't get out here, you can get out here. So somewhere in here, you got out of that trade because you saw this and you know this one is coming here before it goes. So we're likely going to come back some more here and then I think we'll continue to go. Can we go down to the bottom? I don't see this very much as a correction to downside. Let's go with this. I don't see, you see this piece was a nice correction. They went up, down. You can see that is a correction. This was sharp, this was sharp. This one is a bit sharp. We have a small correction here, a small correction here. It's a bit, so I think we will probably just consolidate in this range and then take off. It might just stay here today and maybe part of next week we'll still consolidate here and then take off. Because this move up was sharp. It wasn't such a small move. It's not as corrective as this. Unless, of course, it becomes corrective like that, which means they drop here, go back up there, and then we will get one more down. If we see this drop quite a lot here, then I think this sell is not a great idea. But if it drops, let it drop, then we buy it up, and then we look for this trade down before they go. This is still a correction, right? That is not changed. It's just whether you're going to make it a bigger correction or you're going to go out right now. So go to the 1 hour. Let's wait and see. I don't like the idea for the sell. It's a sell setup, but I don't like the idea for sell. It's very short. It could just break the low and then start going back up. We don't have a buy setup in it today, so I'll take this off. Aussie Swiss. This one is getting a sell setup. You can look for a sell. On the break of this, you can look for a sell, and it's just one more trade down. I think you're looking for one more trade like that. You probably put that to break even and take profit. It's not going to break through the low, right? Because once we get there, we're likely going to go back up. We need to break this low at least, and then we're going to go back up. I don't see this as a contracting flat. We spoke about this already, right? But I don't see this as a contracting flat. Not as yet. If you're lucky and they drop to the bottom, we'll go back with the contracting flat. Because remember, we're going down. Let me just show you. It's making it a little difficult when I'm doing the whole webinar for people who are not in the group because they haven't seen all these patterns, and we have to remember we're going down. The big picture is we're going down. The question is, what does this flat looks like? Let me explain this one, and then my traders bear with me. I'll explain this one, and then the rest I'll just go ahead and do the webinar without explaining. We have an impulse up, and we have an impulse up. We thought this was going to go here. It didn't go. So when it doesn't go, what we are saying is that it could be contracting flat. This could drop. The sell is a good idea. What if it is not a contracting flat then, and we're still in a correction that is more complex? Then they will just drop to, let me erase all of this. They will just drop to this level, go back up, break that up, and then come down. But remember, the bigger picture is still downside. So if you get this trade and you take it, put it to break even, that's all you have to do. If they go back up, it's a break even trade. If you like it and it's turning and you see it's turning and all of that, you can take the profit, right? If it starts to consolidate, take the profit, put another entry. You know the rules. My traders know the rules. And then we look for this, and then we look for downside. Now, if this drops, we will take that as a contracting flat. We're not making forecasts for contracting flats. We'll just take them after the fact. But it looks very much sharp. We thought this was going to be the impulse up. It is sharp. It is pretty sharp as a move. So this could be a contracting flat here. See? 1, 2, 3. Now, I will never put a contracting flat as a forecast. I wouldn't mislead myself into doing that, even if I'm absolutely sure that looks like a contracting flat. We don't do that because we have seen many different variations that could look like contracting flats, but they're not. So let's go. New Zealand Swiss. Same here, except you wouldn't sell this. Right? Not because it's not a contract, because this one doesn't have anywhere to go. See that? They just need to break this low and then go back up, if they're going to go back up. But the Aussie will give you enough time. The Aussie Swiss will give you enough time to put it to break even. See, this would give you enough time to, enough pips distance to put it to break even. Swiss yen. Okay, it's going up back deep, so we'll probably look for a sell at a higher point. Take that off. Look for a sell somewhere at the top here coming down. It will make one more drop at least, and this could go very deep. So you may want to look at this sell. All of them have the Swiss in that looks downside. Okay. Maybe our Swiss makes a very sharp drop. The Swiss dollar makes a very sharp. The dollar Swiss makes a sharp drop, sorry. So watch all these Swiss pairs. Cat Swiss. This has to go back up. This one definitely has to go back up because this doesn't have anything for running flat. This has a flare. So this one has to go back up and then come, which means those move down might be very short-lived and then come down. There's no way this is going to drop like that because we don't have any contracting flat in this. If the other two have patterns that are contracting flat, this one doesn't have it. We can mostly, if this comes down, we'll get a running flat. That's the only pattern that could happen, which means if this crawls its way down, you're not selling it. But if it does this, you look for this, and then we sell it. See? It's easy. If you know all these patterns, it's easy to see how it's likely going to develop. That's the whole point. Aussie Cat, this one is not a bad sell. It came up even higher, so I still think we can look for this to come down. If this comes higher, let me just explain this. If this comes much higher, then what we will look for is something like this. Right? This is already coming really high. So if they go up a little high like that, we would look for this. And then this would likely go without coming back here. This would be a flat in this impulse. Right? And that means we can literally take off from that point. So your buy setup would be valid. If this goes slowly, tag you, take it off. That would be a running flat in the making. Take it off, wait for it to drop, put it back on, wait for the buy. Aussie yen. I hope this is not that difficult, right? Because there are traders who will be watching this for the very first time in their life. They're watching my video, and the first time they're getting exposed to wave analysis. It could be pretty, you know, terrifying that this thing is difficult, and it's not that difficult, guys. So hope you don't get scared about it. Look at this. This will be here, and then we'll probably go back up because this is sharp. We might be making a very complex pattern here. Let's just stay away from this. Aussie, New Zealand. Yep, they made a flat, and it looks like they're going to come back down. So we would probably look for a sell setup. You can look for a sell setup. If it drops, it's going to drop beyond this point. So a sell setup here is not a bad idea, especially if you get a flag here, which it looks like they're making. If they're making a flag here, this becomes a good trade for downside. Let's go. EuroCAD. Okay, didn't go up. It's actually coming back down. Take that off. It's not valid anymore. Once they drop, it's not valid. Leave it. Let's see if they drop lower. And then when they break the low, then we'll start looking for buys to the upside. Euro Swiss. This did not break either. Didn't break it, just tick, tick, tick. We didn't get any trade there. Stay away from this too. I don't think that's all the corrections. So there's a likelihood you're going to get another correction here, and you're going to drop, make another flat. And if they keep doing this, we will start channel before we go up. So keep your eyes on this. You might even tag the low. It doesn't matter. Let it break the low. Don't try to sell this. You can get yourself in trouble. Euros, we might eventually get the sell set up. It did go up. It didn't break the top, but that's okay. They don't always break the top. So if you get a flag here, go for the sell. If it goes back up, you don't have a buy setup. But if it starts coming down, oh, sorry, I'm in a 4 hour, 1 hour. Yep, you're actually getting flags here. If you get a flag there, that would be a good sell. If it's going to go back up, you could actually get the buy on the 1 hour. You could get it. If they make a sharp move and make a flag, you get a buy. Because I think it's the pip size is good. You're in New Zealand. This was a sell. So once they break out of this, you can go for the sell. Still valid, probably. We didn't break the top, so the question is whether we will have a contracting flat. Just sell it and let's see. Two things, either a bigger correction or a contracting flat. So we'll see how this goes and how far it goes, and then how fast it's going. We'll decide whether this here is a contracting flat, because this one is sharp up, or whether we're making a bigger B wave here, come back, and then go. Right? There's a possibility that it's just consolidating much longer. There are many, many consolidations like that. We're not even going to go into that. Euro, yen, still look for the upside. We don't have any trade set up as yet, but still, this could drop, but ignore this sell. If it goes up, we're interested. Euro, pound, if this goes up, you should be interested. Actually, you might even get a buy here if they break out. If it drops slowly like that, don't sell it. But if it goes, we'll buy. It has to drop slow, drop down, make a flag, and then we'll sell. But if it goes back, we will go with this consolidation. Either the entire thing is one consolidation for upside, or we can go with, I think you can go with partially this one. This could be a smaller one of its own within this up move. So we can look at that and decide which part we're going to put with which. Pang yen. Okay, if you were waiting for a flag here, but if you took the breakout as a break even, there were 6 hours there. We're waiting for a flag, no flag, and they're going sideways for downside. So it seems like we're still in the consolidation. This came down, you probably look at it this way, and this will probably come down one more here, and then we will get this pattern for upside. I don't think this sell is a very good one. Probably sell the pound dollar. That's a better one. The pound dollar has a sell set up, and it's not in a correction like this where you wouldn't have enough time to put it to break even. Pound Swiss also has a flag, so all the pound trades, watch them. The pound dollar will go. Where would you put this? That's the problem. So okay, we probably will be looking at a much more complex flat here, because I don't think this could be a contracting flat here again. If we're looking at all of these as contracting flat, because this is a perfect flat in the middle. This didn't break the top. If this is going to fall and fall very hard, then we will go with the contracting flat. For now, we can just leave it like this. And we can just leave it like this. Let's see how far this goes, because this could just drop here and then go back up. It wouldn't change the structure. Wouldn't change the correct. It just changed the pattern you're looking at. Pound New Zealand. Okay, this one is coming. This one is a good pattern, right? It drops a little. We're looking for upside. Actually, if this starts to go up, we can look for this trade. If this goes up here and make a flag, we can look for that trade. So how could some of the pound trades go down and some of the pound trades go up? Is that possible? Yes, it is. Because this has a New Zealand in it, which could fall much harder than the pound is falling. So let's say the pound goes down and New Zealand goes down. There's a high probability that New Zealand might go much faster than pound, and that means you get this pair going upwards rather than downwards. Whereas if you get the Swiss falling and the pound falling, the Swiss pound could fall really hard. So sometimes they don't have to move a lot, just the pattern is done. This one is not showing us upside, is it? We don't have a setup for a buy, but I wouldn't sell into this. We have a big impulse here, so I wouldn't be selling it. Can this drop a little too? Yeah, probably just stay right here or even drop a little more, but that's not a sell setup. Congas, same thing here. I think we wait to decide what this is doing. Is it consolidating for more upside, or are they trying to break the low gain? The breaking the low gain is not a good sell now. If it had dropped very fast, would be a good sell. If you took the sell, you put it to break even already. It's not going anywhere. Pancad, also not going anywhere. If you got tagged in that, you're probably out here for break even. Your stop was here. You're out there for break even. You had many chances to get out. So here's a good one for those traders who are not in the group and don't understand how we do it. I'm not giving you everything, but I'm just giving you part of it. If you got tagged here and it dropped like this, your stop should be here, right? If you kept your stop here, you're out of the trade, no problem. But your stop should be here because this was the flag, right? When you're putting an entry order, this was your stop. So when it dropped here, it goes back up. You see that? Remember, I think yesterday we were in here when I said, when this go up, close the trade because we're going to come back down. This was yesterday's trade, right? It wasn't, this was the day before yesterday's trade. And I said, if you get tagged, then it come here, you see this flag, let it go up, take it off for break even. See why you should take it off for break even? Go back, look at yesterday's webinar, you'll see that. We're doing this. I said, once this come up here, take it off for break even because we're going to go down back one more like that. We didn't go down exactly like that, but we'll still go down. It means we're just making the B part of this a little more complex. Like this, go back up there and then drop here and you'll get a big flat here for upside. It is not going down. That's for sure. At least not as yet. We don't have any setup for a sell. Stay out of it. No setup for buy, no setup for sell. So you see how you can get break even if you put your stop the right place, understanding wave analysis. If you use wave analysis as the way of creating your strategy, your stop is in the right place. You got break even. You're wrong about that trade, right? Because it didn't take off like a rocket. That's the idea, was this could take off really fast. So if it had taken off really fast, you would be good. It did do what you expected to do. That is, it did break out of the structure. But sometimes they break out and they don't do this. They break out and they do this. Well, good for you. You were wrong, you got break even. If you were right, you would have got about 5 to 1, maybe even more. If you're right about where this is going, let me just show you where it should go or where it could go. It's coming to minimum break this stop. And you can take a snapshot. You might not get access to my daily webinar if you don't join us. So you can take a snapshot now if you're new and you're not in my group. Take a snapshot and keep it here. It's going to go up. Now, how it's going to go up, you see this? This could drop a little more here. They could even drop a little more here, but it's going to go there. So what we are saying is every attempt we get at a buy, we will take it. Because you don't know exactly when the correction is over and it's going to take off. Now, because we have had so much correction down to the bottom here, you don't want to miss a single buy setup. You don't want to miss it because anyone could be the rocket to the upside. And it could go really fast. So when you're wrong, you get break even. So let's say we were wrong 3 times and we got 3 break even, but the 4th one actually would go up. Good for you. You could be wrong all 3 times and lose those trades. You will lose 3 units of what you're trading, 3% or 6% or whatever you're trading, how much you're risking, or 1.5% if every trade you're risking 0.5% of your account, 0.5% of your account. So basically you would have lost 3, but when you win, you will get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 1. That's the whole point. So I hope you get that. Let's go now. 1 hour. Come back here. Stay out of it. We don't have a setup right now. It's consolidating. Let them consolidate in here, and then we'll look for buy setups again. If it's going to fall, we will see the trade. There is no setup for a sell there. This one didn't break the top, but if this comes down, the question is whether we're going to look at it as a contracting flat. A lot of, no, this would be a running flat. Sorry, this could actually be a running flat. So this might be the better sell if you get a sell setup, right? And on all the yen pairs, if you're getting a sell setup, this could be a better sell. Because this one they don't have to break the top. We expect them to, but in the case of a running flat, this could be enough for the flat. And in the case of a running flat, because we broke the low. So that could be enough for a running flat, and this could be a nice sell setup. We wanted it to break the top, but no problem if it doesn't. I'll take this off. And we can make an assumption that this, if you get a sell setup here, take the trade. That's a good trade to go with. New Zealand CAD. Let's see what they do here. If it starts to come down back, we can go for a sell, either as a bigger correction or total downside. Right, so let's take this off now. That is gone. Go for the sell if you get it. If it comes and break the top, we'll wait for a running flat. Which means if this comes up here and break the top, just wait for it to come here and then do this. Well, we might consider that sell, but then we'll get a bigger flat here for upside. A bigger running flat. Canadian. Stay out of it. US oil, you didn't get any sell, it didn't go anywhere. If you got tagged on a sell setup, you got break even. Let's assume you had a entry order there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, right? It's not going. So it's going up. That's not a buy. You don't have a buy setup there. The only way you get a buy setup now is if they make a flag here. Then we get it. We'll go with the running flat as this. We want the running flat to come here and then go back up. But if you get a flag here, that will confirm upside, and that would be the running flat. So this could be a buy setup. Take the trade today, take the profit today. Don't keep it over the weekend. If you're taking any trade in oil, take your profit. Same thing here. We wanted this to drop a little lower and then go back up, but if it's going to go back up from here, you want it. It could still drop. And you might even get an expanding flat. So to confirm buy, you have to have a correction. If you don't have a correction, you're not confirming any buy, which means you jump in the trade, you're going to jump right into trouble. Right. Okay, it dropped finally, right? Remember I said you might not get the sell. You had to have an entry order here, which was a bad idea to get the sell, but we know it was going to drop. And this is the case where you know what it's going to do, but you just don't have a trade set up, right? Your strategy is not designed to take trades like that, and it means you should not take trades like that. That is no trade. I mean, you didn't lose anything there, so you don't have to worry. Now we're interested in this. Now that it has dropped to this level, anything below here could start to trigger to the upside. This is when you get very, very interested in trades like this. And remember what I said. If you want to invest, I did this in details yesterday. So if you haven't seen yesterday's webinar, go watch it. Once it breaks that low, you're interested in buying stocks if you have to. So you see how low it is? How low? It can't go to zero, right? It's not like this thing is ever going to be worth zero. It costs money, right, to produce it. Whatever you're drilling, whatever they're doing, with whatever process it is it takes to get it, it costs money. Transportation and all of that, it costs money, so it cannot be zero. It is now at 150. It can go below 150. It could even go below $1. It might still be viable in, I don't know, the US. They produce natural gas cheap, so it might be possible to go below that. But you start looking at it now, because structurally it's ready to take off to the upside. Can it go a little lower? Yes. As soon as you get a setup for a buy, then you will start buy. We don't have a setup for a buy here, which means I think it could drop a little lower. You're not interested in the sell. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to be like oil where they can go negative. I have no idea how this work in the market, the real market, where you're actually buying the real thing. Remember, we're not buying the real thing here. We're speculating on the price. If you're a retail trader, you're only speculating on price. You're not buying the real thing. You have to be in the stock market to be buying the real thing, where you volumes and different, right? You're literally speculating on price with your broker. I don't even think your broker is handing the trade to anybody. He's just keeping it and praying to God that you lose. And because the stats is on his side, God is going to listen to him, because the stat is on his side. 90% of retail traders lose their money. Our group had an 80% success rate. So we are like the opposite of what's happening in the market, right? So watch this. This is very interesting. If you're an investor, this is an amazing opportunity, right? Now, truly, if you're an investor, this industry doesn't collapse, right? They could stop where it is too expensive to drill. They will stop the drilling. They will stop whatever the process. It's not only drilling, like they have natural gas coming with oil in Dubai. If it's too expensive to bring it up and to do all the process, they will stop it, or they will reserve it. They will just put it in reserves and don't sell it, which means they're stopping the selling, right? And that means price goes up. That means price goes up, because it's not going to go to zero. They're not going to sell it for minus what it cost them to produce it. It's not going to happen, right? So they have huge reserves for that, so they can just store it and keep it until price goes up back. And they're using it for internal consumption as well. And they can control the price internally. It doesn't have to be what market price is when you're giving out to your retail, internally in your own country. So Russia is the same thing. Russia has huge reserves to store natural gas if the price is going to go beyond what the production price is, right? The cost of production. So keep your eyes on this. This is an opportunity. If you're an investor, this is a great opportunity. If you're a trader, it's also an amazing opportunity, but especially if you're an investor and you can want to do long-term investment, not on the thing itself, but on stocks and companies that are not going to collapse. Make sure those companies are solid. They're not going to collapse, and then you can take your chance on that. And you can send me the thank you later on. S&P 500. Yep. It's going to go back up. I hope you got the buy opportunity. This was a buy opportunity here. I hope some of you use that opportunity. You're getting another one here. When it comes to this top, you'll put it to break even, and we're hoping that it's going to break out. It might or might not tag the top, but then it's going to go back down. It may or may not break that top. It doesn't have to break the top, right? Structurally, we're in a B wave, which means we believe that they're not going to push the price way up to the top now. What is that belief based on? On past experience, on looking at thousands and thousands of these patterns of the way the market behaves, that when it gets to that point, what they're telling us, or what they were planning to do, right? What they're now planning to do is let the market come here and then drop it back here before they go. That's already in the plan. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to come this point. The reason why FIBS is now magical, we don't know exactly where it's going to stop. It could just tip this top and then, drop. Rare, sometimes it'd be contracting flat. But what we are saying is that this structure is not ready to go. Rarely you see that now. You would say, but I've seen this thing, break out here and then, Jen do something like this and then go, yeah, but then you'll come back and you'll find one of that here, which is the long, drawn out running flats we show you. It could, and that is why I said buy it. It could do that. That's why I'm saying buy it. Because if you're going to get a long drawn out running flat, you're going to get some amazing trades before you get the sharp move down. How do we know which one of those patterns they're going to make? You don't even have to know that. You're on the right side of the trade. So you don't have to know that. You're lucky if that happens. But you can control the trade as it's going, so you're not going to lose money in it. DAX. DAX could drop some more. I don't think we haven't broken this low, so there might be a chance it's going to come down lower. No sell setup, no buy setup. Stay away from it. because we're still in consolidation. I don't think this is going to take off either. We might be making a bigger B wave. That's all. Yep. If you sold this, you want to be careful here. Remember I said yesterday, you want to really, really be careful. Move your stops, try to even close the trade. They're consolidating here. If they consolidate here again, then you sell. If not, watch for this possibility and then down. Something like that. So if you get a buy setup today, it would be good. GE. GE you can sell. It's coming. At some point you'll get a sharp wave up, but you can sell if you get setups to sell. So if they consolidate here and they break out, you can sell. If they go back up, I don't think you have a buy setup, but if they go back up like this, then we can definitely look for this straight down too. But if they make a flag here, sell it, because we don't know when this is going to come. You can definitely look for sell setups here. If this starts to break down, look for sell setups, because we've got a flat here already. Okay, we're finally consolidating here, which is good. Let them consolidate, and then we'll sell again. Let it consolidate. It's an incomplete pattern. Nifty. It's consolidating, so you'll get a sell setup. See, they're consolidating here. Look for a sell setup. Put it to break even. If they break through the structure, good for you. If they bounce, you're going to get break even or a small profit. So what you're going to wait for, if you get this trade, you're going to put it to break even. When it comes here, break the low, comes here, put it to break even. You don't want to be in a flat that goes back up. You'll be in a break even trade. You look for a buy here, we'll get a buy there. Sometimes you see the structure changing and you manage to get out for more, for a little profit rather than break even. That's good. Wait for this. We don't have any clear direction. It looks like they're going to either consolidate here and go more, or we're going to drop. So nothing, no setup. Just leave it. This has a sell setup. Short term, looks like you can go with this trade. Especially if they go back up there and then start to drop, you can go for this trade. If it's going to go so slow, it might be difficult to take it. But you can, you can go for the trade and try to get it to break even. Bitcoin should drop a little more. We wanted to break this low at least. But put an entry order here. If this takes off, we'll go with that. But it would be better for us if they come and break this low and then take off. Let's look at it 4 hours, see what we have. Nope. I was trying to see whether we can look at this as some kind of a running flat in the middle there. Whether this would give us a running flat, but no, I don't see that possible. This one is really sharp down there, so that's not a running flat. We'll not get a running flat there. So we'll go with these two flats. They'll likely break the low. It's often that the low gets broken before they go, right? This would probably come down here first. Watch it when it breaks that low. Then we start to look for the upside. This one is going to break the low too. You're probably going to consolidate here and then drop one more. It's probably going to consolidate bigger. You may get a bigger consolidation, then they drop. Wait for it to finish and then look for the sell. If you want the sell, because once they break this low, they're going to go back up. Same thing with XRP. We broke the low, and if you get a buy setup, you should go for it. They are giving you a buy setup. Look how many 4 hours consolidation you're getting there. That's the 4 hour. Let's go to the 1 hour. Look at this consolidation. This is definitely put an entry order for a buy above the top. Put an entry order here for the buy. This is a must. Let it consolidate. The longer it consolidates here, the better it is for you, as long as we don't break this low. That's a better trade for you to go up. So this one is an amazing one for the buy. See, this one did exactly what we wanted it to do. So look for the buy setup here. You can ignore the rest of them. Same here, you're getting a buy setup. We broke this low, so you're getting a buy setup for upside, which means this one could go up. 1 second, guys. Okay, that's about it. I think we've just finished everything. Yes,
Пап, а где у тебя мягкая потеряется лежит?
Ой, нет, у тебя в комнате. Sorry about that. Everybody is home, so it's Friday as well, and he's going out very rarely. He doesn't like to go out, so he's busy in the house. Okay, So thank you guys for coming, and I would share this on YouTube. So this might be for this week. I have no plans as yet what I'm going to do on YouTube, because already I can tell you the trolls are coming. So this is amazing. I upload the video, and the first second that the video is uploaded, you can put upload, and then it's still processing. And the minute the process finish, I mean within the first couple seconds that the process finish, immediately somebody click unlike. I'm like, dude, you didn't even get a chance to look at the video. How can you unlike the video without even looking at it? So the trolls are like, they're sitting. I mean, my biggest fans are the trolls. The guy is just like sitting, waiting on me to post it. Like, come on, come on, come on. Boom, unlike. It was fun. I looked at it and I started laughing, because I was still editing the video while that was happening, while it's processing. And the process finished, and the first thing that clicked was an unlike. Within seconds. I'm like, this is interesting. I don't think that putting it in YouTube is a bad thing, but it's the volume of people in YouTube are not really serious traders. I'll be honest with you. There's a huge volume of traders there, but they're not serious about their trading. And we are investing a lot of time into our traders. I think those of you who know you're here, you get a webinar every single day. Now, one person, one of my subscription trader wrote and said, the only reason I'm doing the installment paying is not even so much for the courses to get the daily webinar. I'm saying, dude, you can't pay for the daily webinar. It's free. My daily webinars are all complimentary and free. They've always been that way. You can't pay for them. If you think you can pay for them, ask yourself how much an hour of my time cost. How much do you think an hour of my time cost? Multiply that by 5, then multiply it by 4 again for the month, and then multiply it by at least 11 months I'm here, multiply it by 11. That is only paying an hour of my time. That's not for the cost of the webinar. If you're just paying me for an hour of my time a day to be with you here. I'm not even counting the trading rooms. I'm not counting the Q&A. You can't pay for these webinars if you're going to stay in my room for lifetime. Just paying, how much do you pay any ordinary worker 1 hour for 1 hour? And then think of if you paid a qualified, if you go to the doctor for an hour, how much do you pay? If you go to a lawyer for an hour for consultation, how much do you pay? If you come to finance, I don't know, finance is somebody who's going to deal with your finance for 1 hour of consultation, how much do you pay them? Calculate to see if you can pay for my webinars. You can't. And that's why I give it away for free. But you pay for the course, because I'm investing a specific amount of time in you for a specific cost. I think that the time that I'm investing in you for the course and the knowledge you're getting is worth the money. It's not even the knowledge. You can't pay for the knowledge, right? Knowledge doesn't have a price. It's my time. You're paying me for the time that I'm going to train you in that 6 weeks in the course. I have valued my time for that 6 weeks at that price. If you like the price of my time, if you think my time is worth that money, you join the course, you learn, and you get the knowledge, and you get complimentary everything else. So if you're one of the installment period, you're not paying for the videos you're getting every day. You're getting them complimentary. You're paying slowly for the course, and a lot of you have done that, right? Traders started paying for the course. They paid for 3 months, and then they pay out for the whole course. A lot of people pay about 6 months. They pay out for, at least 50% of the people who started paying the installment already paid out for the course. And it's not finished. I mean, if they were paying monthly, they would not have finished, because those who are paying monthly have still left with a couple months to pay. It will take you 1 year to pay it out monthly. And we didn't start it last year. We started at the ending of last year almost. Right? So nobody who started paying and is paying monthly is not finished, but more than 50% already in the group. Because they paid out, they realized the value of it, and they realized they would like to have the knowledge of the course. So for the YouTube subscriber watching this, the cost for the course is not for the knowledge you're getting. You can't pay for that knowledge. Most of you can't afford to pay for that knowledge. Tell me what it's worth if we have a trader who almost made $1 million on that knowledge that I give him. So tell me, what do you think the knowledge is worth? If you have $10 million to take these trades, and let's say you're going to take natural gas, you can track it, take natural gas, you have $10 million to invest, and I give you that knowledge to trade it. Take silver when it went up. Take a lot of things. Knowledge doesn't have a price. Knowledge is free. We share knowledge for free. You pay me for the time that I'm going to be with you for that 6 weeks, because for that 6 weeks, I'm intensively with you. Not only me, all my traders and the entire group. We're intensively working with you. That's what you pay for. So get that clear. You're getting these daily webinars free now. For all the traders out there who are asking, and I got a lot of things when I said it. I don't know what I said exactly, because I can remember one trader said, did you say you're giving away your daily webinar for free? I said, yes. He said, so I'm paying subscription. Why would I pay, right? I said, no. Your installment you're paying in the subscription thing is for the course. It's not for the daily webinar. So get that clear, right? You're not paying for the webinars. You're paying for the course. So all the YouTube people who are looking at this, if you want to join our group, you're not paying for the group as well. You're getting access to a couple hundred amazing people. And let me repeat that, a couple hundred amazing people who are going to be your friends. Literally, they're going to be your friends. They will come to your home and they will meet you in your country if you're in the same country, because we have had them do that. People travel and they go and they meet the other person in their country. I've met people in New York. I've met people in, where else? And I think we met in New York, we met in Dubai, we met in one more other country I meet. And I hope that one day I'll travel the whole world and meet all of you. Personally, I would love to, because I make friends, really, really good friends. You're all my friends as it is, but you're online friends, you're distance away. I'm telling you about people who I'm friends with, that I sit with, had dinner. People came to Dubai to meet me. That's the kind of friendship you get. You're not paying for that. You can't pay for friendship with these guys. The cost will be too expensive, right? They're an amazing group. You can't pay to join them. You can't pay to be friends with them. The benefit you get is priceless. Just being friends with them. The Dubai group, I can tell you, every time we meet, it's amazing. And most of those guys met after I came to Dubai, and we formed the group here where, you know, we start meeting, and they became very, very good friends. They never met each other before that. And they're still friends today, very, very good friends. They can't pay for that, right? That's priceless. You don't pay for that friendship. Friendship can save a life. You can't pay for it, right? There's no value to that. So if you want to join the amazing group, it's free. If you want the daily webinar, it's free. You will have to take the course to have access to it. That's the only criteria. You would have to take the course to have access to all of this. So with that, I'm going to end. You make your decision. About the YouTube, I'll decide later on what I will do with it, because I really don't have time for some of the nonsense that happens there. Truly, I don't have the time for it. So thank you guys for being here. Enjoy your weekend. See all of you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.